And frankly, to be more competitive by offering an enriched program for parents to take a look at the quality that we have and not send the kids to charter school. So we are creating additional art classes, art program at the middle school. We're going to have a band and chorus program at the middle school. So you have an additional art teacher, you have an additional music teacher at the middle school for those expanded programs. We need another special education teacher because our special education, cases in terms of special education continues to increase, and we need an additional teacher. And we need 2 business teachers because the state has mandated that students be financially literate, which means that at the high school level, we're going to be offering courses in business and making them financially literate. So we have those cuts, and then we have these additions. Next slide. And I believe that's it. Okay? So, to the board, questions, discussion, be happy to engage. My colleagues will certainly help me answer any questions related to the finances as well.
All right, excellent. So if we can go back to the slide prior to this one where we talk about the administrative cuts, one more. Dr. Larry, can you talk to us and the audience a little bit about how you got to 3 administrative positions versus other positions, and why it's so important that that lead teacher position is restructured, and what the expectations are as we move forward in the year to come?
All right. This has been a very difficult budget to put together, okay? And what we can predict, a very reasonable prediction is that going forward in the future, every one of the budgets that is going to be produced in the school district is going to get more and more and more difficult because you're going to continue to lose money in terms of the charter school. Okay, even though in 2 years they won't be taking any more new students, what happens is that right now you're getting state aid for some of the tuition payments that the district is paying to the charter school, but you get those tuition payments to us from the state for 3 years, decreasing. So it goes like from 80% to 60% to 40% to nothing. And so what's going to happen, and by the way, for every student who goes to the charter school, the tuition, and this is for regular education students, is $22,500, $22,500 for each kid who goes out the door and goes to the school, okay? In terms of the charter school, the state has allowed them up to 798 students, call it 800 students, can go to that school. That's the capacity. They have been enrolling about 70% of their capacity. So follow the arithmetic. So if you take 800 and you take 70% of that, you get about 560 students. That's good, okay? You get about 560 students. You multiply 560 students by the tuition, but those were for, I told you, regular education kids. The special education kids are going to cost us about $30,000 a piece, more expensive. So let's just call it $25,000. So multiply, let's say 550 students times 25,000, what number do you get? Well, you get millions. Okay, you get millions. And that's what the district is going to be deficient of. So, explanation as to why I'm talking about all of this. The present structure that you have in curriculum is unsustainable. If you don't cut it now, you'll cut it next year or you cut it the year after. So you might as well take your pill right now. Why do we need the 5 lead teachers? Because what we have to do is to take those positions, those lead teacher positions, are teachers at the various grade levels, at the various subject areas, and we have to redesign their job functions so that they provide greater support to our curriculum and instructional programs. It's the least expensive way to go about trying to provide quality education to our students. And that represents that $600,000. So I think that's a pretty thorough. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
So good evening. Thank you, Wyandanch members, Board of Education, community members that I met outside, and as well as my colleagues. I'm glad to be here and finally see people in person, because normally I'm on the other end on computer online. It's with pleasure that I serve as the Director of English as a New Language and World Languages. I'm very excited to share with you all enhancements that we are planning for our Spanish program. And as you can see up here, shortly, there we go, I divided it by the different buildings, the middle school and high school. And I'll talk a little bit about each component, and then if you have any questions, by all means. So looking at the middle school, we have a very large English language learner population, and which requires a bilingual program, which we have not been successful in hiring teachers. We've been trying, but we couldn't hire. And so we see that the students are struggling academically, even with the minimal support that we're able to provide them. Now, we know that the research shows that any student who has a second language, when they are literate in their first language, it helps them academically as well as for language development to learn English and to succeed in the content areas, math, science, and social studies. So for those students, what we're targeting is the Spanish Language Arts program. And basically, it's like English Language Arts, but conducted in that home language, in this case, Spanish. And again, we do that because, like I said, the research shows that it helps students to learn cognitive academic language proficiency. So that's one enhancement to our program at the middle school. The next enhancement, currently all of our students are begin language in 8th grade. They strive to get that 1 high school credit. And in order to do that, they have to succeed in the class as well as an assessment called the Checkpoint A assessment. Now, you might have heard of FLAX. That's what we use in our district. There are other assessments out there. We currently use FLAX. And so we noticed that about 35% of our students are not succeeding. And now to compete also with other districts, most districts will start language in 7th grade. Correct. So what the enhancement would be is also to start our language in 7th grade and provide our students with the 2 years to gain that high school credit and better prepare them in 8th grade to take the FLAX A or the Checkpoint A assessment. So that is for the Spanish 1A. Now, our students currently that are in 7th grade will all go into the 8th grade Spanish 1 course, because we don't have that time, right? We have one year left for them. But moving forward, the idea is to start the language in the 7th grade and cover those topics in 2 years, and then take the exam to be successful on the checkpoint A. So that takes care of Spanish 1A and 1B, so that's how they divide that. Also, Spanish for heritage speakers, think of it as also Spanish 1A and 1B. There's really, the difference there is that students in that class are students who have a home language of Spanish. So the course would be conducted differently. They already have the speaking and listening skills needed to succeed, but might not have the reading and writing. So the teacher in that course, which is still one of our Spanish teachers, it would be more accelerated, and students would be focused more on the reading and writing, just the great stuff that they love to do in school. And so that would be the goal of our Spanish for Heritage. In order to do that, how do we get students in there? So we are planning on a screening process for the students, right? So we currently have, at the middle school, 70% of our student population are Hispanic. But that's not to say that they can speak or understand Spanish. So we will have a screening process in place to make sure that they would be eligible for that program. And then once we determine the students that are eligible for the program, then we would send letters out to the parents to say your child was chosen to be part of this program. It's going to move faster, right? It also, honestly, at the middle school, will cut down on behavioral problems because students are not going to be bored, because we will meet them at where they are, right? And they will be more challenged. So those are our enhancements for the middle school. Looking at the high school, we're really excited to be bringing the advanced placement Spanish literature and culture to our students, which gives them an opportunity to gain the 3 college credits already, which for families is a savings of money, right? And especially in these times, we all need to be saving. So we're excited about that. And just to quickly give you like a flow of the program, if students are in world language in the middle school and we prepare them well and they get that high school credit, right? We also want to promote language. We want to promote multilingualism for many different reasons that I'll talk about in a second. But then they move on to the high school, and as long as they continue in the world language, the same language, so let's say in this case it's Spanish, they'll get 2 additional years of Spanish, which is our Spanish 2 and our Spanish 3 program, which now gives them an opportunity as eligible for an advanced Regents diploma. Now I put an asterisk there because with the advanced Regents diploma, you still have to not only pass the boards, but you also have to pass what's called the checkpoint B assessment. That's the next level. And just so that you can kind of see, checkpoint A in the middle school, we're looking at students being a novice mid to a novice high, which is really a beginner mid, beginner high. And that's very difficult for students to do in 1 year, but if we prepare them in that sequence of A and B, we should be able to reach that. Same thing with checkpoint B, which is your level 3 class. They are expected to be at the intermediate low to mid point in speaking, listening, reading, and writing. And then finally, if they continue on to Spanish 4, they also have an opportunity to get credit through the Beacon program with Suffolk County Community College. So now we have 3 credits for college already. And that would be in level 4, or the checkpoint C. And they're expected to score at an intermediate mid to intermediate high. The other reason why we want to continue promoting language is so that our students, all of our students, can apply for the New York State Seal of Biliteracy. And as we may have heard already, New York State is going to changing into diploma requirements and many seals, right? Seal of civic readiness, seal of biliteracy. And with the seal of biliteracy, when it first was implemented, not all states recognized it. Now all 50 states are recognizing the seal of biliteracy, with many colleges and universities offering, once again, college credit for students that have earned the seal of biliteracy. Of course, as your child is applying to college, you want to check with that specific college and what their requirements may be. But going back here, besides the Regents Diploma, the Advanced Regents Diploma, if they achieve, so we also have students who may be, because currently we still have Regents exams that we need to pass. So if students are struggling to pass that 5th Regents, then they are able, and I have to be honest, a lot of times it may be our English language learners that struggle with the academic language. And so if they take 4 Regents plus the checkpoint B assessment, and their specific assessments, they cannot take the FLACS for the world language pathway. There are only certain exams that they're able to take. So for example, there's one that's put out by OHM BOE. Don't ask me how to say Oneida, Herkimer. Yeah. So, yeah, thank you. So that is the OHM BOE would be an example of that assessment. But now we've given them another opportunity to graduate. And it's not just English language learners. All students are able to apply for the world language pathway, but they must succeed in a checkpoint B course and assessment. And then if we get to that point, they're able to move on to advanced placement for the college credit, as well as the seal of biliteracy with possible college credits. So now I yield the floor for questions.
Questions? Yes.
So this is an incredible model for beginning to the world language review, but you have to ask Dr. how many percentage do you have approximately? 70%
It's probably more than that, yeah.
It is actually 70. Because I'm always So thank you for bringing that question. So we've been looking for French since I arrived here at the end of July. We've posted. It's very difficult because though we are 70% Hispanic and Latino, we do have a Haitian Creole and French population that I have not ignored because they count as well. Every student counts. So we listed for French teachers. We have not gotten any that were qualified. In addition, what I did was I contacted local colleges and universities to say, hey, could you please post this for students who are graduating? What's happening is they already have positions in other school districts. So then I offered, hey, if you have any, if you need student teachers placement, send them my way. I will work with my colleagues, because if I can get them here, then if we need them, we can keep them here for whatever positions, whether it's sub-positions or whether it's for language. I reached out to my world language colleagues throughout the state and throughout Long Island, and for example, Herrick's, right? Struggling to find a French teacher. I reached out to my colleague in Babylon. Hey, would you like, do you have, because I'm looking for any possibilities, share someone. Is your enrollment going down? So maybe you keep them for 3 periods and we'll take them on for 2 periods. That helps our students. I cannot find a French teacher. I reached out to State Ed, Office of Bilingual Education and World Language, and they're saying you're doing everything that I would suggest you to do, but we keep hitting a brick wall. So, but thank you for that question, because I'm always looking at that and also looking at the possibility of other American Sign Language. So, thank you.
Yes. Okay. My question is regarding this program being implemented on the elementary level. Have we considered that yet? One of the joys that I've had was when I was in the classroom, it was in a Spanish immersion class in kindergarten. And it was just great to see the students who spoke Spanish primarily at home incorporate with students who are learning the language of Spanish. So have we considered that as well, as that is also the pathway or the segue to this overall goal?
And thank you for that question. Yes, I have considered that. We've considered that collectively. Right now, we actually have a transitional, we call it transitional bilingual education program, which really means the goal of that program is transition students into English. But I'm noticing through the data that the students are perhaps starting in kindergarten, if they start in kindergarten, and they stay in the bilingual, program till 5th grade. So what we are talking about is, instead of calling it a transitional, should we start moving into what's called a one-way dual language program? Because we definitely have the population, which means we would have to support that with curriculum material. I'm all for that. But that's small steps as we are doing it. But that is under consideration. So I have an immediate goal of enhancements and where I would like to see our district move to generally. And if we can get that, what I would really love to see, is a dual language program. So your child is not Hispanic, but would like to learn that language, to make them bilingual and biliterate and bicultural, right? And we would start that in kindergarten. We're not there yet, but it is a goal that I do see. So thank you for the question. But
I have possibly 3 questions and 2 points. So first question, I guess walk me through the screening process. I'm a parent. What is the screening process in terms of having a child sit for the checkpoint B? B, you said, correct?
So the screening process is actually for the heritage
Okay.
program.
Okay.
All students are expected to sit for the checkpoint B if they are in a level 3 class. And that is for the Advanced Regents Diploma, as well as the potential to move on to obtain the Seal of Biliteracy, or even just do a level 4 and get Beacon credit.
The other question is, you mentioned the flags. What's the difference between the flags and the checkpoint?
Another great question, if you're not in my world. So a checkpoint A and a checkpoint B are just points of checking in for language proficiency, if that makes sense. So checkpoint A would happen before high school. So in 8th grade is checkpoint A. Checkpoint B is 2 additional years beyond the checkpoint A. So again, checkpoint A is a level 1 class, 2 more years, level 2, level 3. So now we're at a level 3 language class, and now you take the checkpoint B. And I'm going to confuse you a little bit more. There's also something called checkpoint C. That's an additional after level 3. So Mr. Crawford, so that is checkpoint assessments. Now you asked me what's FLAX. Okay, so FLAX is an exam that a consortium of world language teachers put together. And that actually happens predominantly here on Long Island. It's the consortium of the New York State Association of World Language Teachers. So they used to be called FLAX, now they're called NYSWALA. Okay, so that is a consortium of people that create a checkpoint A, B, they don't do a C, an A and B assessment. That's one example. Another example is that OHM BOCE's assessment that I mentioned. That is another checkpoint assessment. So think of it as the checkpoint A, B, and C are assessments. FLAX, OHM BOCE's, and others are just the names of the vendor, if you will. In addition, there is, I know I'm giving you a lot of information, we also have the opportunity to have our own consortium where our district creates our own checkpoint assessment. We are able to do that as well. We're not there yet, and that's another goal of mine that I would love to see. But schools may create. So Wyandanch teachers may create the checkpoint A and B assessment, okay? Wyandanch can partner with, let's pretend, Deer Park in North Babylon, and teachers can come together and create an assessment. The only thing to note is to get the Regents diploma with advanced designation, it cannot be a locally developed exam. It must be one of the vendors that New York State, and there are only 4 vendors, most common one, why I mentioned OHM, the BOCES upstate. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So my last point is, you mentioned that there's a scarcity of French teachers and sign language teachers. Did we ever contemplate the possibility of creating a farm system in terms of, I don't know if Mr. Jones remember, we was in school, we had the Future Teachers of America while we was in school, and where you mimic mock teaching and assisted in getting to schools that deal with teachers, and eventually, as myself, we came back. So we may solve our own problem.
Right. And that's the best thing to do, is where you're talking about having students that are here, they graduate from here, they go back, we promote them to go and get their teaching. That's fantastic. In order to do that, especially for French, right, we need to have French.
Right.
So I'm back at square one. I need to find a French teacher. And I'm open, and anyone that meets me in any kind of organization, nice to meet you. Do you have a French teacher?
Right.
I was upstate at a conference, and I ran into a young man who actually happens to be from Long Island, but lives upstate. And I said, really, don't you want to come back? Your family's down here. He teaches French, ESL or ENL. I said, I'm sure we would hire you. Why don't you? No, not interested. So trust me, I'm always looking. And if not French, what I would like to do, and another goal would be to kind of survey the students and kind of see where their interests are. We say Spanish and French because that is our population. But I would also like to think outside the box, and that's why I bring American Sign Language. We used to have one Chinese teacher that went through all of Long Island. We shared her between Glen Cove and Port Washington. And last time I heard she was in Hicksville. I'll take it. I'll take you for 2 periods.
Right.
I'll take what I can get.
Right.
So if anyone knows anyone, the Wyandanch Family Center, I was doing a seal of biliteracy, and I asked them if they knew anyone who spoke French and was licensed, because that's the other thing. You may speak it, but you need to be licensed to teach. So.
Okay, well, we're going to be going through the various resolutions. The first resolution from administration, I'm going to hand over to Christine. Wake up.
I apologize. I was blown away by Mr. Vaccaro's presentation. So administration number one is a multi-year lease agreement for instructional technology. This is for Chromebooks. So every year we have to order 750 Chromebooks just to maintain our stock. Then the first one is for photocopiers. So every 5 years, our photocopiers become obsolete, and it's necessary for us to replace the majority of them. We are able to maintain some of them with a direct usage contract. For example, one of the things we're adding is each school, don't tell the others, will be getting a high volume color copier. But the one we have at Central is good enough for us to keep with a direct contract for 5 years. So because these are multi-year contracts, they have to be board approved instead of just going through BOCES. So administration number one is for a 5-year copier lease.
Question,
Yes.
have we compared the costs with Toshiba and Canon?
So we did BOCES, under New York State purchasing laws, BOCES put out an RFP on our behalf. And I sat with Carl Geneton, who's our BOCES project manager, and the Canon support, we haven't had always the best luck, but then when you compare it, Canon is first of all right here on Long Island, and a lot of the other companies are not. So if we do need service, Canon can be here within an hour. The second thing is the speed of the copiers. There's a minimum speed. In Canon, every machine surpasses the minimum speed. In addition, some of the other ones, they would have half of them would be at minimum and some of them would be below minimum. So to be changing out our stock for machines that are slower and cost more, and service is in Illinois. So when you take those three factors, even putting price aside, we really had no choice but to go with Canon. But we did do the RFP process. Administration number two is a similar resolution. This is for the 750 Chromebooks. We give Chromebooks to first grade, fifth grade, and ninth grade students because Chromebooks have a life expectancy of about 5 years. When we collect the fourth grade and the eighth grade Chromebooks, we utilize those that are still in working order as loaners to be used if a student breaks theirs or we need to replace something. But again, because this is a multi-year contract, it's not a multi-year lease, it's a multi-year payment plan. It does have to be board approved. Administration number three is an agreement between 4 BOCES around the New York State to negotiate on our behalf for Ed Law 2D contracts under the Risk Operations Center. A lot of our services that we purchase through BOCES, we are able to, for lack of a better word, piggyback off of BOCES Ed Law 2D agreements. This saves us potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees. And it's done by signing this contract. And that concludes administration.
Okay, personnel one.
Personnel 10B1 is a recommendation to accept the retirement dates of employees listed. First, okay. Personnel 10B2, the resignation, which has happened. You want to vote? Personnel 10B2, also a resignation, which has happened in March. Personnel 10B3 is an amendment to approve the increase of $200 to the conference that was attended in November. Personnel 10B4, the appointment of the Smart Scholars Facilitators, which is the Saturday program. Yes.
If these individuals started working back in September, why is it just now coming before the board?
I'm going to let Dr. Jordan respond to that.
Thank you. In the past, we had posted these positions and the board has gratefully approved them and appointed them. We were under the assumption over the summer that because chaperones, which is what we were calling them, is in the WTA contract, that we did not have to board approve them because it was in their contract and they're allowed to be contracts. However, it doesn't seem to be laid out that they can be paid at the rate of which we've been paying them for, I think, 4 years now. So to just make it clear, Mr. Wilson and Mr. Marcano and Dr. Ehrenstein came to the agreement that we would appoint this particular rate of pay for this particular assignment for these particular people so that we could compensate them, because without their participation, this program could not happen. And they have been performing the duties. They take turns, 1 or 2 of them do it every Saturday since September.
What was the previous rate of pay?
It has been $45 an hour as long as we've started, but contractually, I believe it's, Mr. Wilson, $45 for a single session because it's aligned to the sports.
And 90 for double.
Correct. But these people aren't chaperones. The duties they're performing on the weekends are not even close to chaperone duties. They're more or less instructional personnel. So it was a gray area in the contract in terms of application and interpretation. This resolution goes towards rectifying the situation, and we're in discussions to craft something that hopefully will be presented to the superintendent and the board within the next month that cleans up this area and 2 or 3 others.
One last question. The resolution does not then state, it makes no mention of what they were doing, and it doesn't tell us what position they will be doing. Because Mr. Wilson said they were really doing instructional work. You said chaperone, and then where I sit in my advocacy for them, I'm sure those who are handling instruction getting paid more than $45 an hour.
We had been paying them $45 because that's what most of our programs that run outside the regular school day pay. So these staff members are responsible for making sure the children know the dates of their courses, that they come to the bus prepared to attend their courses. They escort the students to the professor. They assist the professor in making sure the materials are ready and that the students are ready, because these are college classes taking on a college campus, and some of our students are 14, 15 years old. So there is the need for an instructional staff member to kind of bridge that gap between an adult professor who's expecting like 19-year-old students and they're getting 14 or 15. So that's the gray area that Mr. Wilson is referring to. They're not chaperones in the sense that they're just counting heads on a bus, but they are really facilitating the instructional outcome of the students. And if they were not there, if you're looking at what the kids are getting out of the day, they're critical to the students receiving that course credit and really getting the emotional support of becoming college students.
I get that part, but the issue that'll remain though is the argument of what they're doing versus what they're getting paid. And this resolution is just us appointing them to be paid at a rate of $45 an hour. It doesn't say to do what, even though we know in conversation, it's being revealed to us what they will be doing. But with all the other positions in the Smart Scholar program, it has a title so that when you look at the record, you know this person did this or that.
I believe it was supposed to have been called the Smart Scholars Facilitator, so I'm not sure if that was just left off the
Yeah.
amendment.
So then, Mr. President, I would ask that the board consider a friendly amendment to add in a Smart Scholar Saturday program facilitator appointment. Thank you.
Mr. Morris, I didn't understand the question.
Yes.
Correct.
Personnel 10B5 is to recommend for payment for the opportunity to participate in the virtual AI professional development modules. And each module is $350, not to exceed 8 modules. And it's funded through Title II.
Question,
WTA members.
how would this differ from those professional development workshops that BOCES and other agencies have reached out to the district and said they would conduct, which at what I believe was a much cheaper cost?
Again, I'm going to defer to Dr. Jordan for this program.
So after, presenting the AI presentation last month, I really sat and I thought, along with the lovely Miss Paschal, was part of the conversation. Several teachers and our professional development provider, Logic Wing, we really sat and thought about how it's best for teachers to learn, because AI is something that we cannot get wrong. And so when we look at all of the apps that we have, Magic School being one of them, there's a lot of layers. And if you pull up Magic School, and I do believe board members actually have Magic School too, you have access. There's so many different modules that go to Magic School. So if we could chunk them into groups of 4 or 5 modules and do a deep dive and kind of do a play, create, and evaluate. So play would be the first step. The teachers can go in and they can play around with the various tiles, as they're called on Magic School, and get a sense of them, answer some questions, just like an assessment. That assessment would then be evaluated by Logic Wing. If the teacher's successful, then they move on to the create part. So in the create part, they take some of those tiles and they create lessons and activities for their particular class. And that might look very different in an elementary school computer classroom than it does in a high school math class. So sometimes these PDs we get, Mr. Morris, are not going to be one size fits all. This would allow us to really target, so what a teacher can create would look different across the spectrum. Once they make their assessment, they would then move on to the evaluate. For that part, we'd ask them to put into a lesson plan, perform the lesson plan, and then reflect on the lesson plan, what was successful, what was not successful. After that reflection, that would be the final, checkbox for that you've completed this module, and we're all comfortable saying that this teacher knows how to do these things in the AI space, and we're ready for them to use it in the classroom. I'm not taking anything away from the Western Suffolk BOCES or Eastern Suffolk BOCES PDs. They're fantastic and they're financially a great option. But this is something we want to make sure our teachers have been evaluated and we're supporting them and helping them reach their goals instructionally, and so we can hit the ground running in September. We have $80,000, but there are teachers that will not take advantage of the opportunity. There are teachers that may take advantage of half the opportunity, and there are teachers that may do all of the opportunity. But you will note that they only have until the end of July to do this. And so when this gets approved in April, we're not ready to run really until the first week of May. So we have May, June, and July. That's not a lot of time to bang all of these out, but we wanted to give people the opportunity.
I guess a question, I guess in terms of, maybe for Mr. Wilson, in terms of budget purposes, do we need an effective date on this resolution? There's no date on the resolution. I know it says March.
There was supposed to be through July 31st, starting May 1st through July 30th.
So can we have a friendly amendment to add July 31st? May 1st is that? May 1st, I'm sorry. May 1st. May 1st to July 31st. So with that included, the friendly amendment included, is there all in favor?
It's actually August, but we wanted to give ourselves some time to, and also we want them to evaluate how it works. And if you're not going to be able to try it out in a summer school class, then we can't complete the last piece of the puzzle, which is why July 31st.
So we set, yes? Those in favor? Opposed? Abstain? We got first, second, right? Everything? I'm sorry. First? Yeah, that's it. Baker first, Walker second. Questions? Any other questions? Those in favor? Opposed? Abstain? 700.
Personnel 10B2, the termination of the employee that we spoke about in exec session. Yes? Yes?
Okay. We have a first for 10B6. Walker first. Morris second. Any questions?
Yeah, the effective date was April 23rd, but we will do a friendly amendment to that to 30 days. Yes.
So we don't need to, do we need to amend it? Okay,
Just have to revise the letter.
okay. All right. So we have first and second. Any other questions? Those in favor, opposed, abstain. 700.
10B7 is the appointment of the administrative position, Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction.
Baker first, Walker second. Motion to table for executive session. There's a first and second on the floor. The first and second, you got mine pulling back the, no? Okay. What's the reason to discuss in the executive session? We're still need for slated for next week too. Next week meeting. They will table to next week, next meeting. Okay. Okay. You can zoom in. You can zoom in. Oh, no, 2 weeks. We got 2 weeks. Not next week, the week after. Right. So, motion on the floor to table? Okay. Okay. All right, we have a motion to table. We have a first, we have a second. Brown, second. Questions? Those in favor, opposed? Yes. Abstaining, 7-0 to table to discuss.
Because I created it. It was a motion to table to executive session.
Yes.
Yeah, we said it was in change the table for discussion. No, table to executive session.
Yes, executive session purpose of this discussion. Ms. Reed, you have that? I think she do. So that's next, I think, 10:08. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Personnel 10B8, seeking the board's approval to direct an employee to undergo a medical examination pursuant to Education Law 913 to determine the employee's capacity to perform duties.
First? Yes, sir.
This is a work session.
Yes, sir.
We turn the work session into a voting session. And the purpose of a work session is to be presented with resolutions so that you may officially consider it at your voting session. Now, if we're gonna, the purpose also of a voting session is also to inform the community of what was brought before the board at a work session. And if they have anything they like to say, they can say that at the voting session. So if we're gonna go ahead and vote on every resolution, I would ask that we state that now. Since we have considered at least 70% of personnel tonight.
Well, some of them we moved because of the dates, past dates.
There is no date on this resolution.
Right, that's this one, and there isn't.
There wasn't a date on the last few resolutions.
Point of information, ladies and gentlemen. If the board likes to consider a vote on tonight as a part of our work, we can. It's at the leisure and the pleasure of the board.
So, item A, do we want to vote on or do we want to discuss? Eight. That's what I'm saying, ask them, do we want to discuss eight? No, that was executive. Where's your public commission? Well, we have 3 to vote. Ms. Corbin, what's your pleasure? You what? Okay. Ms. Holder, trustee Holder? Okay, okay. All right, so we take the vote. We have first for 10B8, Walker first, Brown second. Question? Those in favor, opposed, abstaining, 7-0-0. We have, excuse me, 7-0-1. 6-0-1, sorry, my math is off.
Personnel 10B9, the appointment of the MLO yearbook advisor.
We can. She asked, can we vote on it? Because the year's ending soon, so we need to do it.
Which one?
This came up at the last meeting, but I don't know, I think we block voted or something and it didn't get through, so the kids are waiting, at, MLO to do the yearbook, so they need this advisory.
Okay, we got a first. Walker first.
Brown.
Baker second. Any questions? No questions. Those in favor, opposed, abstaining. 7-0-0.
That concludes personnel.
Curriculum?
I would ask that we vote on curriculum one. There's a trip happened today that I want to just make sure that we cover. Baker Walker, question? Those in favor? Opposed, abstained, 700.
So curriculum one, thank you, are the field trips. Oh, so we're good?
Yes.
Okay. So then I'm done. Thank you very much.
Pupil Personnel Services 1, Mr. Baldini.
Pupil Personnel Services 1 is a health and welfare services contract agreement for parentally placed students who attend in the Comac Union Free School District.
Do we need to vote on this tonight, Mr. Bodine?
No, sir. I think
Okay.
these are all fine. Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
thank you. Pupil Personnel. Yeah, these are all health and welfare services. So, no, you don't have to. It's not emergent. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so Pupil Personnel Services number 2 is the same thing, health and welfare services agreement with Nassau BOCES on behalf of certain schools. Number 3 is a health and welfare services agreement with the Deer Park Union Free School District. Pupil Personnel Services number 4 is health and wellness services agreement with Hempstead Union Free School District. Pupil Personnel Services number 5 is a health and wellness services agreement with Uniondale Union Free School District, and that concludes Pupil Personnel Services.
Special education?
Sir, special education number 1. We are seeking, this also, none of these have to be voted on tonight as well. But number 1 is the CPSC and CSE placements. Number 2 is a special education contract agreement for 23-24 school year with the Bayshore Union Free School District. I would like to note, so we received this contract late from the district. That's why it is for last year. Special education number 3 is a 24-25 Jericho School District special education contract. And this is, again, like the one before, for parentally placed students who attend within that school district from Wyandanch. Number 4 is a special education contract with the Smithtown Central School District. And special education number 5 is a special education contract with the Deer Park Union Free School District. And that concludes special education.
Board of Education number 1, combined work and voter session, March 19th. Board of Education number 2, internal claims audit, period of March 1st, 2025 to March 31st, 2025. Yes, sir.
Have you received this report?
We good? Board of Education number 3, budget status report, period of March 1st, 2025 to March 31st, 2025. Board of Education number 4, are we considering this tonight? Okay.
Board of Education number 4, Sir Chair, has been discussed at length. And this document that was received and approved by our legal counsel pretty much closes this contract. So I think we are in a good position to vote on it. But again, it's at the pleasure of the board.
All right, are we, wanna move forward with Board of Education number 4?
Yeah.
So we have Board of Education number 4, appointment of superintendent of schools. Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby appoints Dr. Eric Wright as superintendent of schools for the period of June 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2028. And be it further resolved that the Board of Education hereby authorize Dr. Eric Wright to receive an annual salary of $247,500 pursuant to this appointment, subject to the terms and conditions of employment agreement which has been reviewed by counsel of Dr. Eric Wright and the district, and authorize the board president to execute and said agreement. We have a first, Brown, second, Walker. Questions? Uh, Right. Right. What, part of this discussion was, that this was originally for the 22nd meetings that we have them in person, so I may mention that, cause that. Yeah, okay. Trustee Morris?
Yes, there's a matter, a piece of this contract that was still being negotiated. It's, proposed superintendent has a question that we did not answer as a committee. And that's why I asked that we talk and discuss that in executive session, because there's a piece that is still missing. So we're getting ready to vote on the superintendent's appointment of contract, absent of the consideration of that final request.
What was the final request?
There was a change, it was in our email from the attorney this morning. We got it. There was one piece that's still outstanding.
He said we think we need to discuss it. So, can we, Brown and Walker move for repose so we can discuss it? You wanna pull it? Okay, she said yes. Okay, so we're discussing the executive session, but we still wanna invite them. Right, right, yeah, we can, after come out of executive session.
Right.
So we just pull the table until after the executive session. Okay. Any other questions on that? Okay. Board of Education number 5, transfer of funds authorization. Be resolved that the Wyandanch Union Free School District of Education acknowledge the Capital Leaguers of Wyandanch High School are taking a non-school district affiliated trip to Ghana, Africa, and Capital Side Incorporated to be held in April 2025. The Board of Education authorized the district to expend maximum amount of $55,000 to the Capital Alpha Psi Incorporated from the ECAF funds to pay for the expenses associated with this trip. First, Baker, Walker. Questions?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
What supporting documentation have we received for such requests? I'll start there. Have we received any? Whoever is willing to answer.
I guess I can go and get the material. I sent the board, I'm losing track of time. Was it yesterday or the day before? I guess it was the day before. A rather extensive package, it was on Monday, a rather extensive package of all kinds of supporting information, a lot of detail on it. I have it in my office if you want me to go and get it, but everybody received that package, if you were able to take a look at it.
So in that package, is the specific dollar amount? Is it about $55,000?
there was, in terms of the $55,000, no. There was a total amount that needed to be paid for to the tour agency, and 55,000 is in partial payment of that.
Okay, my second point, and I'll reiterate,
I'm sorry,
the point that I'll reiterate that I made earlier is that we as members of the Board of Education, along with the superintendent of schools, we took an oath, and that was also to abide by the Constitution of the state of New York. In Article 8, Section 1 of the Constitution of the state of New York, it says that, and school districts being one of them, cannot utilize school district money for private use, which is considered a gift of public funds, which under the context of the law is illegal. We took an oath. At the end of the day, I'm not against the trip. What the resolution reads is that they're taking a non-school district affiliated trip. Non-school district affiliated trips cannot use any money in which the district has fiscal oversight over. It's illegal.
any other questions? Those in favor? Opposed?
Morris is opposing.
And for the record, I emphatically oppose. Abstaining? 4-3-0.